All right. Hey, good evening, folks. Once again, we are back taking a look at the tropics. Tonight is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. This is your evening tropical update. If you saw the other video, take two, since I recorded this earlier this afternoon and then realized that didn't record with sound. Turns out our new microphone does have a little mute button that I didn't know about. And it's not even a button. It's just something you wave your finger over and it mutes the microphone. So pretty cool stuff. But we're going to fly through this again because I really don't feel like going over every bit of what we talked about. But looking at the Atlantic Basin tonight, our same three players are among us. We have newly formed Tropical Storm Alberto, formerly potential Tropical Cyclone 1, that is quickly moving towards Mexico and is expected to landfall overnight tonight. We have Invest 92L, a little bit of area of showers and storms off the coast of the Bahamas. This is moving towards Florida and will move ashore by Friday afternoon, and then down back in the southern Gulf of Mexico. After Alberto moves out, another system may wrap around out of Central America and kind of follow the same path. So let's go ahead and get into it. National Hurricane Center's evening advisory on Alberto: 40-mile-an-hour winds, movement to the west-southwest at 9 miles per hour. You can see here Alberto's centered just offshore of Mexico, expected to move in overnight tonight, but that huge wind field associated with Alberto still producing tropical storm force wind gusts well into Texas, and a tropical storm warning still extend all the way up to near Galveston tonight as Alberto moves in. Heavy rainfall still expected in the region. Alberto is the first named storm of the 2024 season, first of likely many to come, but it is actually the latest forming storm in the calendar since 2014. But on average, the first named storm of the season forms around June 20th, so June 19th, we are right on schedule with Alberto. So for now, our season appears to be normal. We don't expect that to continue, but hey, what can we say? So Alberto's tracking in, moving in overnight tonight. Not much else to talk about. This gets buried into Mexico. Flash flooding, though, still to come. A good chance of flash flooding from the Weather Prediction Center for southern Texas, for Corpus Christi, Brownsville, those kind of areas. Still could see some flash flooding with heavy rainfall still spreading through the region. Rainfall totals still to come, about 4 to 6 inches. Some folks still could see pockets of 6 to 8 inches, across South Texas. And then, of course, tremendous rainfall coming for the upslope mountains of Mexico, where widespread mudslides and flash flooding are likely. All that tropical moisture running straight into the side of a mountain, big lift, big rainfall in that region as well. And some of this will work around into parts of western Texas and into New Mexico and parts of the plains where this area is all in a drought. So good rainfall totals still to come, hopefully. And still some surge left, still strong onshore winds moving in. Galveston Bay could see up to 4 foot of water rise over the next 24 hours or so before those waters, start to begin to recede. So that is the latest on Alberto. So let's kick it back over to the Western Atlantic, where we have Invest 92L, the last visible satellite imagery we had today on Tropical Tidbits, showing us here that there is a little bit of a surface circulation, or at least some kind of mid to low level circulation associated with 92L. In general, we do still have a broad trough axis, winds coming up like this, moving back down. 92L is a fairly sheared little system here this afternoon. The low level winds are moving in this kind of direction, but in the upper levels, there is an upper level low over Florida spinning right here. You can see it centered right about here over South Florida and the Keys, and that is producing some wind shear over 92L. So when we zoom back in on the visible satellite, you can see a lot of the cirrus clouds blowing off in this direction, and overall we have a little bit of a partial circulation trying to get going, but all the cloud tops and thunderstorms being sheared off to the north as that upper level wind shear out of the southwest continues to batter 92L. And this is going to keep this from intensifying much at all over the next day or so, but eventually this will begin to relax a little bit. And as it does, it might have a very small window near the Bahamas that it could form up. European model and the GFS indicates some slight chance of intensification right there as it crosses the Gulf Stream late Thursday night into early Friday morning. But again, I don't think this is going to be a big deal either way. I think this is mostly just going to be some wind and rain, especially on Thursday for Florida. So tomorrow afternoon, y'all going to have some pretty gusty winds in the area as this little trough interacts with the strong high pressure to the north. This is going to create a pretty good wind. So you're going to have a pretty rocking east to northeast wind over the next day or so moving into Florida. And again, if this does have any window to become a tropical depression or a tropical storm, it will happen probably late tomorrow night into early Friday morning before it actually gets ashore. But again, not expecting anything widespread with this one, mostly just a rain and wind event for Florida in an unnamed sort of fashion. Wind gusts still to come from the National Weather Service. We'll go back to Thursday afternoon. You can see here widespread 25 to 30 mile an hour winds expected from much of the area tomorrow. Again, some folks will see wind gusts around 25 to 30 miles an hour. Now, this model, the National Weather Service blend the models, does back this off into Friday before going back to normal. But I think Friday could be a windy day as well. Especially early on Friday before the winds do begin to relax. And the National Weather Service forecast graphic here kind of just illustrating those strong winds kind of hanging out until Friday. But again, showing the highest winds actually on Thursday, which is a little bit curious. Temperatures in the upper 80s and a good amount of rainfall expected over the 48-hour period to come. So again, could this become a tropical depression or storm? It's possible. The Hurricane Center could kind of last minute spin it up and throw out a watch or warning for some of the Florida coastline. It's possible, but it doesn't look all that great. The only thing that is curious is that kind of vigorous low-level swirl right here, but it's going to have to get a lot of help in the next 24 hours if it wants to become anything named. And even if they did name it, the impacts are largely going to be the same. So expect more wind, expect more rain over the next 2 or 3 days, but that's really going to be about it regarding that. And the rainfall totals to come, again, from the QPF, from the European model, showing about an inch and a half of rain for most of the region. WPC about the same, maybe a little bit more for the coastal section. So y'all going to get some beneficial rain out of this, just not a ton in the day or so to come. As we wrap up here, we look at the rest of the basin. So this is the European mid-level moisture and map here, kind of showing Alberto moving into Mexico, our little trough here moving towards Florida. So as we get this through Friday, you can see a little bit more tropical moisture gets in early Thursday and Friday into Florida. Alberto's gone now. We go into Friday. But then as we go into the weekend, more low pressure trying to spin up. More low pressure trying to spin up down there in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. Another low being stamped here. And the same kind of broad, messy system gets going and then moves kind of in right where Alberto did for the most part. But it looks like some drier high pressure may keep the Gulf Coast a little bit drier. South Texas may get a little bit of rain, but overall, we might have a repeat of this later this week. Could also be named, could not. We'll watch it play out, but we're not expecting anything monstrous down here either. So again, guys, overall, Alberto, still some rain and wind for Texas. Otherwise, not much else for the U.S. This little guy rides into Florida, just kind of kicks up the winds and brings some more rain showers and storms, but not much else. And then we might have Alberto round 2 later on towards this weekend, but none of this looks like a serious impact to the U.S. over the next 7 days. Otherwise, we're quiet. We will be following the progress of 92L here all the way up to landfall, so we will have another video tomorrow afternoon looking at the latest. And by tomorrow, Alberto will be no more. So that's what I got for you guys tonight on your tropical update. As always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.